Welcome to Season 2 of The Gemini Show. This podcast speaks about the light and dark side that we all have, giving you a safe space to make amends with the dark aspects so that freedom can allow you to be better for self and others. I am your host, Fee, and I'll be bringing you relatable topics and real guests that will join me, and together we will dive into what's real from our own experiences. Would you like to see all the products and services I offer? After the show, head on over to my website, inspiremewithfee.com. Now, let's get comfy, open up your third eye, and allow truth vibes to flow. Again, welcome to Season 2 of The Gemini Show. Welcome back, guys. Hey, this is Season 2, and we are in the building. And I got somebody special. If y'all kind of see, we may look alike. Can y'all see the resemblance? Whatever. Okay, so I have in the building my cousin, Joe. How you doing, sir? How is it?
I'm well.
You well?
Feeling good.
Okay. I am so glad you took the time to come to the countryside, to come be with me here on the Gemini Show. We're finna get started. You ready?
I'm ready.
Are you sure? We're gonna start off with some icebreaker questions. The one that I love to ask is, what is your favorite emoji used when you're on social? Like, what do you like to use all the time?
I would definitely go with the smiley face because I'm always smiling. Even if I'm sending a smiley face and it's a negative situation, I'm gonna send a smiley face just to let the person know that I'm still gonna smile through this.
Through it all.
Mm-hmm.
No, you do smile all the time.
Right. Literally.
All of the time, y'all. I'm so serious. Another question is, what has been your favorite activity to do during COVID?
Wow. To be honest, I'm gonna say just having the time, because pre-COVID, you don't have a lot of time to kind of just really sit and meditate, but having the time to actually take and just read and reflect and just actually go out to the park or and just enjoy nature. That has been, like, for me, that has been an enhancement.
Okay, that's dope. I've been doing a little thing myself, going out. I would call it earthing, where you take your shoes off and you walk in the grass and do all that. So okay. And my final question, this is a popular one. When was the last time you did something for the first time?
Interesting. Oh, that's a trick question. The last time I did something for the first time.
Okay. That's what it was. Yeah. Yep.
I would say, okay. Definitely reading that book that you so diligently told me about.
Okay.
Melanie, but like just actually doing it, like, because I always say I'm gonna read this, I'm gonna read that. But I'm gonna be honest, y'all, it's been years since I've actually just sat down and read something. Because I think this social media technology, world that we live in now takes you away from just literally reading things. And so I hadn't read in years.
Wow. That's deep. Because with me, that's how I've been doing it during Corona, is reading. Because I can sit down. I'm sitting, because normally I'm out and I'm doing everything, but to sit down and read,
right, and
actually to read and be able to grasp it.
Exactly.
Because sometimes I read and then I get up and do something and, like, dang it, I gotta reread these pages again. Right. I done forgot what the hell I done read. But now we're able to obtain it and hold on to it. So yeah. Okay. Well, that was Joe and the 3 questions. And so now this gets juicy. When it comes to the Gemini topic, you ready for it?
Ready for it.
So, history, their story, our story, have been hidden from us, right? During school, they only taught us certain things. We didn't even know not a dang on thing, right? So your Gemini topic is the hidden owl story. I'm not gonna say history. The hidden owl story. We recently did the ancestry, the African ancestry, and you found out.
Absolutely,
Liberia. How does it make you feel now to know your true roots? Because when we are asked, where are you from? We say out south.
Real quick. Over there off Lewis Street. JC Napier.
No, we really want to know our roots, and we have not been able to identify with anything.
That's
but just
true.
Africa, but like not to pinpoint. So when you found that out, that day we found that out over the summer, how did that make you feel?
It was actually, and this is a true story. It was actually confirmation, because someone had recently told me that finding your true identity is where your true power begins.
Ooh.
Because we live these lives for so long, and we carry on this facade. And in reality, if you don't know who you are, then you're just kind of living in the shadows of the greatness of who you actually are. So until you tap into that energy and find out who you truly are, and find out how much power your name has. Something as simple as looking up your name and what does your name mean. So for me to actually go a step beyond that and research and actually find out where my ancestry lays, that was amazing and mind-blowing, because it's like I'm more than just Joe, the American citizen.
What?
I'm more than just an African American that was born in Nashville, Tennessee.
Wow. Well, that ends the show. Man, yes. I almost cried because I did the test. We did the test together, and let me pull it out. I found out that my maternal side, Nigeria, and I was like, now I can say, hey, yeah. So when I'm asked, Nigeria, Yoruba, my tribe, and it was just kind of like, it took me 36 years. So all through high school, all through elementary, I couldn't identify with anything but, like you said, African American, living in Nashville, Tennessee. That's it. But to find out what my veins and what blood rise through me, it's just, I feel robbed.
That's an interesting word to use.
Yeah, so let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's feeling robbed because a lot of stuff was lost in the way, on the way. A lot of stories, were told. But to feel robbed, it's already somebody breaking into your house. But to take your whole identity. Let's talk about it. How you feel about it?
So basically, I want to actually elaborate on the word robbed, and let's go a step beyond that and say deprived.
Uh-oh.
And what I mean by deprived is there's a truth that is there, but it's been literally withheld from you because that entity knows how powerful you truly are if you knew who you was. So it's almost a strategic thing to actually, I'm going to take that power from that person.
Wow.
So if they don't know who they are and they live in this false identity, then they can be subject or powerless to us.
Dang. And it was strategically done.
It was, absolutely.
Because if you actually think about going back, I've been looking for Nigerian roots, the things that we created, the things that we've done, dance, rhythm, melanin, the power within. It's kind of like now I'm holding my head up a little bit higher because at first, head down. Because I don't even know who I am, literally.
Right.
So, yeah, deprived. And then so now what my job is to teach our baby cousins, my daughter, the truth. Hey, let's figure out what we really are, so then now we can actually start studying that story versus his story.
Interesting.
Because you can't go in a library and really like pull a book and just be like, okay, this is about Nigeria, this is about Liberia, this is about, it's always about Christopher Columbus and the United States and da-da-da-da-da, and even with holidays.
Mm-hmm. It's very selective when it comes to what knowledge of history that they allow us to gain, in school, in public facilities such as libraries and things of nature. It's amazing to me that you have to literally do your own research, and you have to, on purpose, because I know a lot of people say, hey, I know that there's Black history, and we know that there's more to it than just certain things that we're taught in school, but saying it is one thing, and actually taking action to go a step above and beyond, and actually researching and finding out, oh wait, a lot of those things that was created by who we was taught it was created by or invented by, oh wow, that was a African American that did that. That was somebody that's from Nigeria. Like you have to go further back. You have to like look beyond.
We can edit it.
Okay.
We can edit it.
All right.
Yeah.
That works. But I'm quick though.
You are. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
That's that basketball kicking in.
That's that melanin.
Yes.
That quick reaction. All right.
Didn't even knock over the tee. But to me, it's just really interesting that it's there for us. But I think there's also a level of fear of finding out the truth. And I think people fear the truth because the truth is painful sometimes.
Yeah.
Let's just be real.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about pulling up things from the past, we have to be really careful because a person has to be at a certain level psychologically to be able to accept everything, because everything is not going to be like flowers and roses. It's not going to be beautiful. It's not going to be good news. It's going to be painful. Have to know what our ancestors actually endured, and to know the blood, sweat, and tears that was put into all of the things that we're so freely able to do in 2020. It's just like, for me, I shed tears just reading some stories and like reading into different levels of just, and our ancestors.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think it's a twofold thing. You have to be able to understand what you're actually about to open up. It's almost like you're peeling off that Band-Aid.
And it hurt.
And it hurts.
It's been on how long it's been on now.
Yeah, you might snatch off a couple of hairs, but but you have to be willing to like endure the pain, because no pain, no gain, right?
Right.
So
you have to gain it back.
And we need to gain. We as a people, we need to be empowered. We need to be just informed.
Yeah. And not be lazy about the research, because again, it's been 30 years. We have history that's been buried, going back 5,000 years or more. So it's kind of like now you have to really sit down and really research, and you are continue to learn things, because again, you have to find it. It's hidden. So you have to go in and dig deep, and you have to go in and like, okay, well, if I can't find it from this library, let me try to find it from another library. Going over to Africa, that's my dream now, to go over there and to actually really dig deep and find out my people, to the food, the culture, the music, all of it. And so it's going to take a lot for us to learn it on our own, because again, it was taken. So now we need to take it back. And then also when it comes to taking it back, like you said, be mentally prepared for what you're about to get ready to hear, read, or see. Because I think it's where mental health really comes from. Our mental, how we are fucked up now, because we don't know where to pull from.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So now we just out here lost. And so now we got to go back and heal from childhood trauma and do all this extra stuff, because we, again, don't know where to pull that strength from.
I agree. And I think, it's interesting. A friend of mine and a couple of my colleagues was actually talking about mental health, and with the nature of the world right now. I think bigger than the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, there is the mental health pandemic. And, it's spreading as fast as COVID because people are literally having to buckle down and try to have this normal life or begin a new life or whatever that is. But it's also breaking up marriages and families and homes, and it's just insanity with everything that's happening with the schools. It's just like, but it's interesting because she actually works with people that are suicidal, and she was telling me, and she said, Joe, you have no idea how many people, like, my job is job security because it's hundreds of thousands of people calling us every day, like literally, because they're ready to commit suicide. They don't know how to handle this pandemic. They don't know how to handle the nuances of change or what's happening in the world. So mental health for me is a very touchy topic because I feel like the attention from it has been pulled because of media and because of what's happening, and because we're trying to create a level of fear in this country. And that fear is driving people to nervous breakdowns and to anxiety and to depression. And again, like you said, we can't really get to the root of that. Yes, talking to a therapist is great, but getting to the root, even with a therapist, you have to understand your heritage and your history and where your strength comes from. You have to pull your strength from somewhere in order to fight mental health.
Yep, because that's been my baby, because I was raised around, Uncle Sonny, Bubba. It was always around me, so I thought it was normal, and that's sad to say. Because since I was little, okay, Uncle Sonny, he talked to himself. All right, schizophrenia. Uncle Bubba, he got PTSD, where he went to war. He went to World War I and II. So he got guns all around the house because he's paranoid. All right, so I'm like, okay, this is normal. But then as I grew up, I was like, okay, that was not normal to be around that.
Right.
And it was something dealing on the inside that we don't talk about it in the black society, in the black home. We don't talk about it. Hush, Uncle Bubba, don't tell our business. It is what it is. Keep it moving. Don't. You're a kid. Hush it up. But no, let's talk about it. If I was explaining a little bit more about that, then I'd have been like, okay, all right, I get it, I see. But what is it that's causing Uncle Sonny to talk to himself, or Uncle Bubba to be, that paranoid?
Right.
Coming from war. What really happened over there?
And I think for me, the problem is it's easier for society to normalize mental health issues than actually deal with them correctly.
Because in order to deal with them, guess what? You got to talk about it. What happened when you were younger? What happened in childhood that caused you? What happened in high school that made you click? And a lot of people don't want to deal with that. A lot of people don't want to, reach back. But in order to actually get past those dark shadows, again, that yin and yang, you have to balance the two. You have to embrace that dark side, because again, that's what help you push past it to be able to then look back like, okay, I can help somebody else, because now I know how to get through that. So then when you're ready for that next shadow thing to come up to heal or whatever, and it's so many spiritual, natural things to help, but it takes work. It takes a lot of work.
It does.
And I'm still working from stuff that has happened to me. I'm telling you, it's an everyday process. But I'm not going to give up, because I'm trying to break generational curses, because I have a daughter that is around the same age when I was, abused. So I kind of like, let me get my life together. Because I don't want this to keep going, because if she has kids and they have kids, and no, that's not right. So my question to you, this is going to be another deep one. My mom asked me, we're so strong, our hearts are so big as a black culture, and there was 5 masters but 700 slaves, why couldn't they overpower the slave master?
Interesting. I would definitely say that for me would be a mentality that was inflicted upon them. Because now watch this, follow me with this.
Okay.
I was having a debate just actually the other day about this. It's interesting that you asked me that question.
Okay.
But let me just fast forward. So, I'm one of those people that is very passionate about a lot.
Yeah.
And, as you know, I've been out in rallies and protests and things of such. And, someone had responded to something on my Facebook, and they said, I'm sick of you posting all this Black Lives Matter. Where is your energy when Black people kill each other? And I said, the interesting thing about that is, and this is how I'm going to answer that question.
Okay.
Is I said the scary part about a question like that is that you're feeding, because it's a Black person that's attacking me. So you're feeding into what the slave masters have already inflicted into us. So
I'm sipping
thinking
tea.
about it.
Sips tea. Okay, go ahead.
Think about it. We came over here as slaves. In my mind, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe that we came over here a divided people. We were a surviving people because we were on slaves, we were shackled, we were sold into slavery. Where do you think the hate came from? Where do you think the Black on Black, the light skin versus dark skin, the educated versus the non-educated Black person comes from? So that's generational.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
man.
I dare say it, not to be pointing fingers, but let's just keep it real.
Okay.
That was something that was taught. We talk about taught behaviors.
Okay.
It was something that was taught.
Yeah.
They strategically said they're powerful.
Yeah.
And they're strong. That's why they wanted us to be slaves. We can't let them be educated, because then if they come together, then they'll overtake. Then we wouldn't be the minority. We'd be the majority.
Yeah. Oh.
Therein lies the problem.
Woo! Don't get me started, bruh.
Like I think that's just
No, I wouldn't argue with that statement at all. Yeah, yeah. And that had a lot. You have to really, in order to actually get into somebody's mental, you have to really, it has to be something done over and over again.
And intentionally.
Intentionally, over and over again. Because that kind of brings up abusive relationships. When you first meet him, he ain't abusive. He cute. He nice. I love you, boo-boo. Let me meet your family. Okay, I'm moving in with him. No, because the person would be like, if he came out aggressive out the gate, if he came out just being raw out the gate, you'd be like, nah, bruh. No, he had to be nice. He had to sweet talk you. He had to, caress you and, buy you things. And then when he get you in, away from your friends and all this like that, then the abuse comes. So yeah, it's that mental. And you had to, like I said, that nice comes, and then after that, it's like a whole different person. Like, who did I just marry? What? Okay.
Well, and you're right. And I think, to me, that's a form of manipulation.
Yeah.
When you think of that strategy, it's almost like, because so many of us, and I'm a guy, we always talking about, yeah, I got game, bro. Bro, I got game. I spit that game, and I have the ladies or the fellas or whatever in my case. But I have them all like, just eating, just whatever,
Around my finger.
Right,
yeah.
all that stuff. But it's deeper than that, because what you're doing is you're manipulating this person. So, on the surface, it's just you spitting game.
Yeah.
Or is I'm just trying to get with this person, I'm just trying to have sex with this person, whatever your motives are for manipulating this person, because that's what you're doing. But you're playing psychological mind games with this person, and you don't know where they are mentally. And that's reverting back to mental health. You don't know if he or she had been abused. You don't know if they have trust issues because their father or someone molested them. You don't understand. So you're playing. It's just like you playing in a war game, a dangerous game.
Yeah. Yeah, and I see how that can actually switch around. So again, you don't know what happened to us as a people in Africa. Did they abuse us? Did they take the women and do something terrible? So now you got this in our head. So now it's passed on when they get here. It's like a never-ending cycle until you're again, ready to break that generational curse and get that and start healing. And then also too, when you heal, you're not just healing for yourself, you're healing from ancestors. You're healing your ancestors. So it goes deeper. So that's why you have to work as hard. Because say for instance, if I didn't heal myself and Jaleesa didn't heal herself and her daughter now trying to heal herself, now she's trying to heal for all of us.
Wow.
And that goes back thousands of years.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
So the stolen story is now like, so how do we find it? Getting with other people. Hey, you research this, I research this. What did you find? We share, have community circles, even get with people who are here that are Nigerian, you know, how they speak and how they talk or whatever, and try to see if, hey, can we have a conversation with you? How was it? Because some of them come over here, you know, freely to go to school or whatever, to get better opportunities. Link up. You know, hopefully they're open enough to be like, yeah, let's talk about it, but you just got to open your mouth and reach out.
You know, there's been so much talk about, and I tell people all the time, be careful what you listen to, what you take in.
Okay.
Because, and I'm saying this from personal experience, because I heard that, you know, well, you know, you guys always talking about going back to Africa and you know, tracing your ancestors, but they don't like Black Americans. You know, they don't.
I've heard that.
You know, and I'm just like, where is this coming from? Because I actually had a friend in college who was from Africa.
Okay.
And she told me, she said, I don't know how far from the truth that is. You know,
trying to, I guess, deter us from going back and actually talking and researching and finding out. So I'm gonna tell you a lie. You know, such and such don't like you. Why are you even talking to her?
Right.
And then you ain't gonna talk to such and such and be like, I heard you talk, because a lot of people, we don't do that. We be, oh, she don't like me? Bet. Bet.
Right.
Next time she come off, I'm not answering.
Right.
You don't even care. It's he say, she say.
Right. Get it from the horse's mouth.
You ready to fight.
Right.
Like, come on. It's again, we're not talking to each other. We're not actually getting the word to be able to, we should be able to, as grown folks, Joe, I heard you say, someone told me that you said something about me. Is this true? And then have that person be like, yes or no, or I didn't mean it. I said this, but I didn't mean it this way. This is how I actually said it. You know, that's like that game we played in school. You whisper something in my ear, I whisper something, and then by the time we get back around to the circle, it's like, the red elephant did what? We didn't say nothing about no elephant. What?
He was on a swing. Where did the swing come from? What? No.
Nothing to do with nothing, right?
That's amazing. How by the time, and we would do that exercise in school.
Okay.
And it'll start out from a rumor as small as little Tommy walked across the street to get his bicycle, and by the time it got to me, little Tommy done went to New York. He done went clubbing. He got a drinking problem. He's smoking on the side. He got 3 baby mamas. You know, like,
and we only passed through 7 people.
It's like, wait.
It only passed through 7 people.
Hold on.
Man, that's so stupid.
Like little Tommy doing it big. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to, before I forgot, I wanted to actually reflect on something you said, because that was powerful. We have to really be careful when it comes to conflict resolution.
Okay.
It's interesting, you know, hearsay starts.
Okay, so conflict.
Yeah, so conflict resolution, you know, we have to really be careful because, and I really think that does tie into the subject, because when we talk about heritage and getting to the root of the problem and breaking generational curses, conflict resolution actually plays into that.
Okay.
And
speak on it.
We as a people have been conditioned not to really do it right.
Okay.
And that's one of my arguments when someone says, where is that same energy when Black people kill each other? I said, okay, let me explain something to you. People kill each other all the time.
Yeah.
That is not a debatable argument to stop a whole movement that is trying to fight systemic racism.
Okay.
So what you're doing is you're attacking your own brothers and sisters.
Right.
And instead of saying, you know, so it's just like when there's a conflict, there's a situation, and let's just say you and I have a conflict.
Right.
Okay. And if Joe and Felicia can't settle that between Joe and Felicia, then that's when you bring in a third party.
Good idea.
To kind of narrate and navigate.
Okay.
But at the same time, still sit at that table until you guys resolute that thing and like actually, you know what I'm saying, like deal with it. And I think a lot of people don't. They just kind of sugarcoat it, or saying I'm sorry, let's just be real, is not enough.
No.
Because
change behavior has to be
absolutely
in line with that.
Yes, and it has to be followed by action.
Yep.
So I think, you know, we're so angry with each other, we're so focused on negative energies, and that's a thing that you and I have been talking about. It's just we really need to kind of focus on positive energy and getting back into nature so that we can be able to, because let's just be real, we're human beings.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be conflict. There's always going to be reasons to be angry with people, but that you don't have to, you know, fester on that thing. You can actually go to sleep at night and like forgive that person and let it go, and learn to like grow. And that's where mental health also comes in as well, because it's like, instead of being angry at the person, understand why they responded the way they did. Yeah, and why they act the way they do, why they have this particular habit, or why they chose that lifestyle. Instead of jumping on the bandwagon of phobias, come on now. Why don't you find out why so-and-so does that, why she's always angry, why he's always abusive, why, you know, this person can't stay out of jail. You don't understand.
Right.
Why?
Dang. But that means you have to then again talk. You have to then, you know, try to figure that thing out, and it takes time. A lot of people want quick. A lot of stuff can be quick. We may have to sit at the table for 4 hours, or we may have to sit with such and such and find out what's going on for 6 hours. You know, to break through those layers. It's kind of like the onion. You got to keep breaking through it, You're going to cry it out, but you got to keep breaking through it, because you're not going to get anywhere without communication.
Absolutely.
And that's what we lack in our society, is lack of communication.
Exactly.
We don't know how to talk. Or if we do say something, or we do talk, it's, shade? You saying something shady. We experienced that.
Hashtag shade.
We experienced that. Julie's birthday. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't understand it, but I was like, but why?
You know what's interesting? That's a good point, because when we talk about generational curses, this is something that has been a passion of mine for many, many years.
Okay.
But breaking generational curses can literally free you beyond what you even realize. And we hold on to so much stuff, and we hold on to the past. And just like when you was burning that those journals, like, people need to take lessons from that particular, because you have to understand, you can't be the best person that you were meant to be if you're still holding on to those shackles, and if you're still dragging around those shackles and you're living in bondage, then of course you're not going to be successful. You know, you can go out there and you can be an entrepreneur, you can do this, and you can do music, and you can do art, and you can do whatever, you know what I'm saying? But until you have found your true self and stop listening to the lies.
Rainbow.
And there's a rainbow behind us. See, that's what I'm talking about. That is crazy. But until you actually, you know, find your true self, and
heal.
free yourself and heal, you won't be free. And it's, you know, we say we live in the land of the free, but let's just be honest. We're not free.
No.
We're not free. We have a literal system that is a form of slavery, aka prison.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it's just, there's millions and millions of people of color in prisons. Let's just be real. And
for the smallest thing.
Yes, and I'm not saying that there's not Caucasian people or Asian people in prison, but the statistics show that well over 80 percentile. If I'm not, I'm just ballparking it right now.
Ballpark.
But
it's probably even still low.
It's probably higher than that. I'm pretty sure. are holding down the prisons, and most of them have little weed charges and little theft charges, and the same charge happens to someone who's Caucasian, and they get a pat on the wrist, or they get probation, or they get let out. So when we talk about freedom and breaking generational curses, we have to be free spiritually, physically, mentally, and systematically. Because it's hard to be free when you have Geppetto holding those strings over your head,
holding it down, making sure you move and work the way they want you to work. So the question is, as it starts to rain, I'm trying to think, should we actually take this back in the house? Because there's a lot of equipment out here.
Well,
what should we do, universe?
I'm going to say this equipment is expensive. I'm speaking for the universe.
Okay, we're going to pause here and take it in. We'll be right back. So that leads me to my question, as you were speaking about the puppet and being free when it comes to spirituality, religion. It's like a hard topic. A lot of people don't like to talk about that. But do you think that religion is tying us down where we are not free?
That's a good question. I would definitely say when we use the term spirituality, people immediately by nature associate that with some form of religion. And in retrospect, spirituality could be just you enjoying nature, or you're being in one with, the earth. Yes, I will say, just from personal experience, that religion can definitely be a burden, and it can actually get in the way of this proclaimed good spirituality, or the Christian way of living, if we're going to say, because there's so many different levels of wrong in it. It's more wrong than right, and a lot of people are following religious practices, teachings, and things of that nature, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is America. You got you have the freedom of choice and all that good stuff. But I think it definitely weighs down on if you're really trying to fine tune who you are, and if you're really trying to break a generational curse. There's nothing wrong with a relationship. Let's just say relationship versus religion with God or whoever your higher power may be. But I think once you begin to get into the organized part of it, and the technical part of it, and the rules and regulations of it, and it's almost you're guiding your life by those particular rules and regulations, and you're not really living freely and living your truth.
Okay. So I think so. Growing up, I was in church every Sunday, and then we ended up coming together, Seventh-day Adventists. And it was always a fear. Like if you didn't go to church, it's like it was like a fear. That's how I felt. That if I didn't get up and go to church, if I didn't do A, B, C, and D, that God was gonna get me.
Right.
If I didn't speak in tongue on one church we had gathered, I wasn't saved. And it's kind of like, oh my goodness, if I skip wrong, so I didn't like that box. I didn't like that fear. I didn't like that not being free to be able to know, like you said, that spirituality aspect of it, because I'm living in fear. And they even said, you should fear God, but never really broke that down on what that really meant. So I'm thinking, even my thoughts, shoot, I shouldn't have thought that. Why am I thinking that? I'm sorry, you always apologizing, walking around. It's kind of like, now that I know my Nigerian roots, going back and looking at the spirituality aspect and the Orishas, of Oshun, Ogun, things like that, it's kind of like it makes better sense and it feels different.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels free.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we got to go back and, like I said, our story has been taken away from us. Let's figure this thing out. Let's go back. Let's dig deep and not judge. Hey, if you want to worship on Sunday, that be you, but don't judge me or call me something because now I'm more spiritual than religious.
And there was a huge difference. And I think there's a fine line between that in our society because it has been literally inflicted upon us. That, you remember, and we heard this so many times, and especially in church, and it's like Sabbath school and Pathfinders, choose this day who you will serve. Right. We probably had to like quote that scripture at Bible camp and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like they're taking scripture from the Bible.
Okay.
And you're right, they're creating this level of fear, and it's not a healthy fear. And it goes back to the mental health we were talking about earlier.
Because now I'm thinking.
It's because now I'm overthinking this thing. I'm overthinking this religious experience. I'm overthinking my relationship with God. So now instead of fearing him out of love,
okay,
I'm fearing him out of, I'm going to go to hell if I don't do this. Or like if I go to the movies Friday night, you know how we like if I go to the movies, I can't go skating. We can't go bowling on Friday night. We can't watch TV after 6 o'clock.
No,
like
that
was a whole thing. Like I'm doing a checklist every
Sabbath. And it was to the point to where like we had friends that would sit outside because we're in a circle praying. And yes, mom and dad prayed for our safety. But it's kind of like a lot of people was questioning that, and I didn't have the answer. Why do y'all pray? I mean, that's mom and dad never said it. So, and that time you had got us in trouble because we wanted to go to that football game on that Friday night, the final game of the year, right? And Joe calls the house, and guess what? We get in trouble. But that's something that we had to sneak and do because we didn't feel the freedom to be able to just like, Ma, I understand it's A, B, C, and D. But I'm 14, 15, 16. I want to go to a game. I want to experience high school. Like,
right.
Having that choice to be like, okay, well, what we teach. So if you do want to go to this game, just know there's maybe consequences versus no. And then that puts a child to like.
Right.
And that's just no. So that whole box thing and, I may be judged by dropping any type of denomination or title and just being spiritual free and to know that, hey, I know right from wrong. I know not to go out here and push Joe down and be like, so what? No. And I lead my life like that. And I help people out as much as I can. I don't judge and, stuff like that. But I'm not in a box where if I do have that human thought, then I'm like, shoot, now I gotta go and repent. By the time I'm being repeating every 2 minutes in that case.
If not every minute. But I saw a meme and it was pretty touching to me because it was a picture of a guy that was just covered in tattoos.
Okay.
And it simply said this person could be like more of a Christian than the people that go to church on Sunday.
Okay.
And I was like, wow.
That's real.
Now the general public doesn't want to hear that.
No.
They don't want to hear that the person that's rocking these dreads or their pants are sagging or whatever. Because there was a video I saw of these guys who were helping some elderly people and stuff like that. Of course, their pants were sagging. And this is what's wrong with religion for me.
Okay.
But don't worry about where they are, but look what they're doing. They're helping people. So you focus on judging and worrying about where they are, and you don't know how they got to where they are.
Right.
Mental health. Okay. So instead of being the church and supporting these people and saying, wow, you're doing a good thing. You're out here helping elderly people. You're out here doing positive things. I'm focusing on, man, his pants are sagging. Surely he's been locked up a couple of times. Like these are all the comments that was on this post. And I was like, are y'all serious? No one said, God bless those, young men. They could be doing anything else, but they're out here purposely helping someone.
Helping the elderly.
And that's for me personally where I got frustrated with religion because you see that, and you know this, you see that every week, and be it Saturday or Sunday, you see it every week, that the hypocrisy of it all. You see people say happy Sabbath, or hey, how you doing? How was your week? Or I love you, give you this fake hug, the church hug, the church hug.
Mm-hmm. The sideways
The
pet,
side pet, mm-hmm.
Pet, pet.
And then talk about you right as soon as you get to the next pew. But what I what I don't understand is, why is it so easy for people to choose not to go to church? It's easier now for people to say, I don't even want to do church because I don't want to do religion.
Nope.
Because we don't feel love there. And the last time I checked, it's supposed to be geared in love. It's supposed to be based in love. You guys preach the Bible, you thump the Bible on my forehead talking about God is love and all this good stuff. But when I get to church, I'm a whore, I'm a homophobe, I'm a homosexual, I'm LGBT, whatever. So
like, where do you turn to when you don't have the church to back you up? Where do you look to? And then you got to be like, okay, I got to go within. And then when you find within, that's when you find your spirit.
Mm-hmm. That's that.
And that's when comes spirituality. And it's kind of like, okay, I feel more comfortable within. You shouldn't have to really go within on account you can't go nowhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Only go within because that's what you want to do. That's what you choose to, not because you have to.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, we ran church after church, and trying to find the right church home. And it was like, being a kid, it's like, if you drag me to one more church, Ma, it's only popping. Seriously. I mean,
right.
Come on. And I get it. Everybody tries to find that something that makes them feel warm. And so they go to church home, but instead of that, you're still not happy.
Exactly.
And you're still feeling lost.
Oh my goodness.
Not yet found.
Mm-hmm.
And then so, since I've actually dropped religion and I'm more spiritual, I'm learning more about my story and history, because it's like, you read the Bible, but it's kind of like, thee thou dear, thee thou that. What? Break this down to me. Like, give me plain English. So now I got to sit here and research what this mean and what that mean, versus just being like, you should not do this, you should not do that. Just don't do it.
And the thing about that is too, and I know I'm gonna get all kind of backlash from this next statement, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
We said season 2 is gonna be off the chain.
It's gonna be off the
Rough
chain.
and feathers. So speak on it.
Okay, so let's just keep it real. That Bible that people are reading, and those Bibles and those different versions,
it's a lot of
if you understand that the original Hebrew was not to where we can understand it. It wasn't written for, so where did all of these translations come from? How do we know what we're reading is accurate? It's just like with history in schools, is just they're teaching us what this in this book.
Yeah.
But what does thus says actual religious history? What does the actual Bible say?
Right. And the thing about it is, the Bible is the oldest history book that ever existed. So it's kind of like we question that. And then sometimes if you happen to do question it, what is it? Only God knows. Some things only God's supposed to know. Then why is it here for me to question?
Right. I'm just saying. Again, there's going to be backlash, but that's fine. Let's just keep it 100.
It's just stuff that people don't like to talk about. Because when you're in a family gathering, the two things they say don't talk about is religion and politics. Because you're going to argue up one side and down the other, and it'll never be ending. But why we just can't agree to disagree? You say your opinion about it, I say my opinion about it, and we agree to disagree.
Well, educated people do that. Oh, oops. My bad. Well, I'm just saying, like, if you have to understand, like, there's nothing wrong with agreeing to disagree.
Yeah.
The problem is people don't like to be wrong.
Oh, that's what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good one. And that's the thing that you somebody got to be wrong. They can't hey, if you got two different sides of a story, somebody got to be wrong. And somebody got to be more mature. I'm like, you know what, brother? You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go back and research some more
mm-hmm.
before I come at you again with another debate.
Mm-hmm.
Shake hands and walk away.
Mm-hmm.
No, you got people yelling. You got people now with cussing talking about religion. Because now you done made me mad. about what I believe in, and it is what it is. You know, I think each religion or each has something you can take from and learn from,
right,
and take with you. No, everything is not right, because again, religion actually started from, I don't like the way you preach, Joe. I'm gonna start my own tabernacle. Goodbye. And so now I'm taking myself and my friends and my pulpit and my, you know, and I'm taking out my people, and we're gonna start our tabernacle. Mm-hmm. Because I got mad at you for what you preaching. I didn't like it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of stuff can be manipulated to the point to where it makes me feel good, regardless of what you was preaching.
Exactly. And interestingly enough, it does tie into the theme of this particular conversation, because this all brings us back to the reason for actually researching and finding out your ancestry and finding out who you are. Because, you know, this whole conversation that we've had today, even though we've kind of strayed away, if you think about it, it's all going back to, I need to know who I am. And this is why these generational curses haven't been broken. And this is why I have, you know, responded the way that I respond in certain situations.
Yeah. Because I was reading today regarding shadow work, and which is why with shadow work, it ties into the Gemini podcast. You're a Gemini, aren't you?
I am a Gemini.
That is so weird. I just never picked that up. But being two-faced, two-sided.
Let me clear this up for all y'all haters on the Geminis. Well, let me speak for myself, because let me tell you, what they put out on Geminis is that we are just bipolar, we are crazy, psychotic, just evil. Listen, people out there in the world, Geminis are not, this is a Gemini that is not that bad. I am not that, now I am crazy. I am, this, split personalities every now and again, but I am not
like that.
Like bipolar. Like, it's just like, you a Gemini.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Right. I had people like tell me, I can't date you because you a Gemini, or like, I don't even want to be your friend because you crazy. Like, I'm like, y'all are taking this zodiac sign way too far.
Way too deep.
It's not that serious to me.
But going into Gemini and going into the different sides and the shadow work, when you respond aggressively, when you respond or don't like change, or when you have that negative outlook on everything, that means that you have some shadows that you need to work with. Like, why don't you like change? Or why don't you, why are you being abusive to your kids or to your spouse? Like, it's something there that shadow needs to be, okay, let's acknowledge it. Let's figure it out. Let's say, okay, I don't want to be like this anymore, so what do I need to do to change that? And so that's why the Gemini became the Gemini show, because again, a lot of people, if I look back on certain exes, I'm like, man, they were crazy, they were mean, they were this, they were that, they were that, but I never really just clicked and said, well, why? Let's focus on the why. Why do you act like this? And so you have to, and there's ways to break down the shadow, do shadow work, journaling, and it's deep. It's deep. I've been doing it, and it will have you in a corner crying, bawling, making you feel like you're going crazy. But that's just breaking that chain that has been tying you down. So mental health, learning your story, even to the point so we was some things we get to the point where we suppress that we forget, but subconsciously it comes up. So say for example, something happens to me and I suppressed it when I was, let's say, 3 years old, and I don't remember it, but I'm always just yelling out and I'm just angry all the time. It's like, dang, Fee, you 40 years old and your attitude funky. Like, y'all gotta go in the corner like, okay, we gotta tell Felicia this, and I know y'all, she gonna snap. And it's kind of like, what is causing her to snap like that? Why is she firecracker ready to just firecracker it off? And that's because something has happened that I don't remember, but subconsciously it's affecting me. Maybe even in your sleep, you can't sleep, you're tossing and turning because it's something. So you have to kind of like dig deep. And we experienced ayahuasca in Brazil, and I remembered something that I suppressed so deep down that it came up in the ceremony. And I was like, dang, that did happen to me. And so this is why I do what I do. And what it was, and I'm going to share this real quick. When I slept, I sleep biting my gum. Like I bite down and I'm just so tense. And I didn't realize where that came from. So I'm not really sleeping. My shoulders hurt and I can't relax when I'm asleep. When I went to the ayahuasca ceremony, it popped up. When I was younger and I was spending a lot of people's houses, family member houses on my mom's side. Mom's side? It had to be mom's side because not my daddy's side. Mom's side. They would pour hot sauce in my mouth as a joke while I'm asleep. Mm-hmm. And so, some people do pranks, but it would happen all the time. So I had to now grit my teeth, hold my mouth shut while I'm sleeping because I don't want them to put hot sauce down my mouth. And that came up. And I'm like, oh man, I forgot that did happen because I suppressed it. Because to me, that's kind of like abuse. That's like torture.
Yeah.
And so it came up. I acknowledged it. I dealt with it. And so now I'm sleeping like a baby. And nothing can interrupt. I don't bite down. I don't have that agonizing pain in my jaws because I dealt with it. It came up. I dealt with it. And I was like, okay. Forgave them and moved on.
And there's a lot of keys in what you just said when it comes to overcoming something that has been suppressed for that long.
Yeah. I was like 6 years old.
Right.
That was a long time ago. That's 30 years ago. Jeez.
We can say that now because we feel old and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because when we talk about mental health, that's just one of those things that when you get to that point, and let's just be real, not everyone is at the point to just dive in and face those giants and face those demons and to really let that skeleton out of the closet. So maybe they need to baby step, or maybe they need to, process how can I even approach this. Now there are some people who's strong enough that can handle, just everything coming at me at one time, and I'm just like letting it all out, bawling, seeking therapy. There's nothing wrong with that, There's levels to how you can break generational curses. Yes. You have to decide how I'm going to break this curse in my life. Okay. And then you just have to do it. Mm-hmm. And you know how we have this, logo, Nike, just do it, right? Mm-hmm. That's the thing, right? Well, just do it. If you want to break this curse, do it. Yeah. If you want to be better, do it. If you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to not work for people for the rest of your life, guess what? Do it. Don't talk about it. Do it. And there's going to be failures. There's going to be pain. It's going to hurt. You're going to be rejected. No one ever said it's going to be easy. No. But again, just so gold has to be burned in order for it to be gold. And gold is beautiful. Would you agree? Absolutely. Yeah. But it has to be burnt. Fire. Yeah. We have to be burnt. And part of that burning is, man, I didn't want to face the fact that my father molested me when I was 5. I really wanted to just suppress that and not talk about it ever again in life. The reality is you have to. Yep. Because you'll take that with you to your grave. You will never be free. You will never release that thing.
And that angry, and you'll walk around with a whole mental attitude, you just be wondering about why am I feeling crazy all the time? Why am I? Because you got stuff you trapped in your brain, and and then on top of that, you every time you do think about it without getting it out, you causing yourself stress. So your body doesn't know that's not really happening. Your subconscious is thinking it's happening again. So you're putting yourself through that whole stress again. So now you're going back through that cycle over and over and over again versus just releasing it.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Trauma. Let me tell you, trauma is something that a lot of us have experienced, and there's different levels of trauma. Yeah. And it's not always about the abuse in the home. Not everyone was physically abused, but it could be mental abuse. It could be verbal abuse. It could be. There's a list of things. If you're human, you've gone through something. Yep. Let's just be real. And things traumatize you, and just like you was talking about, your uncle with PTSD, that that's a form of traumatic experience that causes this person to have a mental breakdown, and they go into this season of they're stuck in that level of their mental breakdown.
Yeah.
And they constantly having flashbacks of seeing people dying on the battlefield, or seeing, and like my grandfather told me, like, we saw kids' heads blow off in front of us. How do you come back from that?
How do you come home?
How do you come home and be okay with that? It's war is war. I get it. But again, it's just traumatic experiences happen in our lives, and it's truly what we do with dealing with the trauma.
Right.
Because trauma is one of the main causes of depression and anxiety.
So another question is for you, is you have, if I'm on dope, I go to an addiction facility, stay as many days I need to stay to get myself off dope. All right. If I have issues with pregnancy, you got women that can go to a whole clinic. But if I'm coming from war, where is those clinics and those safe havens where we talk about mental health?
There's not enough facilities in this country and I really feel bad for our veterans and the people that are returning home from war, because they don't create a safe haven for them when they get home. And a lot of them don't have proper funding. They have to struggle financially. It's horrible. They go and fight and put their lives on the line for this country, so that we can be free.
Here we go again with that word.
Free. And then they come home and they're treated like scum of the earth.
They ain't done nothing. No support.
And that's horrible.
It is.
And I think that, for me, there should be more places. There should be more rehabilitation centers. There should be specific locations in which they can actually go and seek the help that they need specifically.
Right. And maybe have it to where, not mandatory, but hey, we at least need you to do one session once you come back home from war to be able to rehab your mental state so that you can come over and be normal. It should be something there. Hey, because you got to come over here, you got to check in, you got to get all these shots, you got to make sure, because you've been overseas. That should be another thing too. Hey, we have a rehab for you. Stay here with us 30 days. We talk about what happened. We try to break those curses. We put you to sleep and do all that, therapy. And they'd be like, okay, I'm able to deal with that. Now I can actually go live a normal life or try to. And if you need us, come back. That should be a part of your benefit. Hey, I tried it. For some reason, I'm still got guns around the house. I'm still feeling every firecracker or every popping of a car. My neighbor got this car next door, and they're popping. I'm on the ground diving. Come on back and talk to us. You're right. Come on back and talk to us, and we'll get this thing worked on out. So it's just, again, just knowing where the resources are. Number one. Number two, knowing, again, our history, to dig into that power to be able to get through that trauma. And so that, we're not running around here being evil, mean, and, having all these dark shadows and don't know how to deal with them.
And for the record, let me just say this. This country has this ideal that medicating everything is a way to fix it. And it's funny to me. I can almost understand it when it comes to medical issues that affect your body.
Yeah. Okay.
Like cancer or diabetes, things of the nature.
Right.
But when you're talking about a mental health issue, and I understand that there are some medicines that are supposed to calm your mood or help you sleep or all that good
There's
stuff.
There's natural remedies for that though too.
Absolutely. So, but it's easier for them to write a prescription.
Okay. Yeah.
Now we get into the money making part of the part. Okay.
All right.
So, let's continue to fund our pockets, even though we're hurting our people, our citizens in this country. And I think that's a sad thing. It's writing a prescription is the answer to everything. Just like with this, alleged pandemic. It's just, if we don't find a vaccine and we got to find a vaccine, I'm thinking, you guys, since this has hit the scene, have taken our attention off of what's really going on. But that's another conversation.
That's another episode.
That's another episode. But it's interesting to me that the focus now, the battle, is the vaccine. That is the answer. That is like the answer for hallelujah miracle. You guys are going to be healed and safe, and the pandemic is going to be over.
But guess what? Guess what? We go into who are they going to be testing? Who are they trying to get into the hospitals to see if it works? Okay, we're going to be right there.
That's another episode.
So again, we go back into, we're now guinea pig. We're now being part of his story with, let me test you and see what happens to you. Did you die? Oh, okay. Well, we're good, I think. And then now, 6 years later, you're going to see this commercial. Did you ever get the COVID-19? If so, you could be entitled to a check. No! Y'all not going to have me looking at this commercial scared. It was me. Wait a minute. No. I'm not going to be entitled to no compensation because I done got a shot. And, And I don't even have cable, so I'm gonna miss that commercial. That's gonna be me to miss the commercial, and I don't get my check.
Right.
Now I'm sick of something wrong with me because I don't get the. No, it's not gonna happen. So a lot of people are fighting against it, and I be sitting a lot on social media, and they ain't gonna be me, finna be me. But they're saying that if you don't get it, then you won't be able to work, shop, grocery shop, do all the other stuff. So
I got 2 words, and again, this will definitely fall into another episode. But Tuskegee experiment. Let me say that again for the people that didn't hear me. Tuskegee experiment. Do your research.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please, again,
history repeats itself, people.
Our story, the lost files. You have to research and get into it, because if you don't, you be around here being fooled and not knowing what has happened before, because history repeats itself and it's going to happen again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Wow. Well, let's go. We didn't actually got off track. Where can they find you on social media, Joe?
On Facebook, Joey Real.
Joey
Real in the building. I actually don't have Instagram. I'm literally in a season of just limiting my social media.
That's real.
Just for my growth. But you definitely can find me on Facebook.
Okay.
You can also email me at jjsmoov as in Victor 81@gmail.com if you have questions. Because I'm actually, hopefully, and we're talking about the $1 million talent. Let's go on and just end it with that. Woo-hoo.
Let's hear it, Joe. Talk to the people.
So I'm hopeful that I can, go into my own business of actually literally helping people, and I want to start that process with my book. So I'm just right now I'm in the phases of just like journaling, like you said, and that's a really good thing to get everything down on paper. But I want to have my book, and I also want to have, like, I'm still trying to fine tune it, but I know that I want to be able to actually physically help people every day of my life. Like, I just want to be able to give back. So I'm definitely gonna do some more research into that. But if you guys, have ideas or anything, just hit me up on Facebook. And this little lovely lady here, she knows how to get in contact with me. So
hit me up. And
I'm also a photographer and a background vocalist, as well as a professional line dancer. I'm the singer. So, but I love this lady.
But your line dancer, go into that, please.
It's interesting when I say line dance, people are like.
No, he takes it seriously, and I support the hustle. Like, he will, if there's a party that starts at noon and it doesn't end until noon the next day, Joe is not sitting down. He's dancing the whole time and smiling the whole time.
Facts. Well, but it's so funny because people are like, line dancing, you doing country line dancing? I'm like, no. See, that's another thing. People just automatically assume that I got some boots on, and I got my.
You see that? Okay.
And I got my got my head cocked to the side. No. This is hip hop line dancing. And she's seen some of the dances. People, it's not just like the wobble or, the easy stuff that you guys do at your family gatherings. No. This is some like hip hop routines that we do, and we do it all over the world.
Yeah.
And there's, parties, there's events, there's classes here in Nashville. So also, if you want to know about classes,
okay,
you can hit me up on Facebook, and I can direct you to all of the local instructors here in Nashville. So it's really fun. Mm-hmm. It's great exercise.
Cardio to
Good
the fullest.
cardio to the fullest. Because listen, you're going to be on that floor and you're going to sweat.
Yeah. Because you want to get out there and learn, so you're going to be eager, even though you're tired and you're just trying to, get at least the steps down. You're trying, okay, all right, boom. And time flies and you don't even know that you've been dancing 17 songs back to back to back. I try to get out there 1 or 2 with you, but you spend 3 times too many times, I got to sit down.
Which is why you should not get on the floor with me. No. I am not one of those dancers that's I'll try to help you with the steps, but typically there's instructors on the floor, so you follow them. Because if you get on the floor with Joey, I'm going to be spinning around to the other side of the building. And
coming back again, and then sliding, and then moving up. It's a lot. But it's also great because, again, it's an outlet for you, right?
It is.
Okay. And so you have to find something positive to help you with a lot of everyday life. Dancing, singing, journaling, podcasting. This is a whole vibe. You get on here and just talk, not just like a conversation over the phone. Now our conversation can be heard internationally now. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So with that being said, this has been an awesome episode in season 2. Do you have any last comments, concerns, anything any questions, or just want to give to the listeners or speak on?
I would just say, you guys, please tune in to season 1.
Binge.
Please watch and listen. Let me tell you, she asked me, because we're family, so it's cool. But she was like, cuz, I need you to go on and check my podcast out. And, she wasn't like pushing it on me. But she, she just casually said, hey, cousin, just check it out, So I was like, I listened to episode 1 and I was like, oh, that's pretty good. And let me tell you something, y'all. Maybe it's because I just had too much time on my hand, but I literally was up until 2:00 in the morning, binge listening and watching this. And I was like, cuz, I done finished the whole season 1.
I just asked you yesterday, bro. And these are hour-long episodes.
Exactly. That's why I said 1, 2:00 in the morning. So I was not even. I mean, hey, we watch Netflix. Y'all know, y'all watch y'all favorite series on Netflix or Hulu until you get tired of it or you fall asleep. True. Let's just be real.
And the little thing it says, "Are you still watching?" And you have to actually click the button and say, "Yes, I am," to keep going. Because other than they don't know you went to sleep on them. So.
But why not invest your time in something that's educational?
True.
And that's just being real.
You're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, you're gonna be like, "I agree." You're gonna be mad because Sorelli episode, he went in. The Memphis, man.
Yeah, man.
He's coming back on season 2.
You need to bring him back on season 2.
I want to get him.
Because I was like, bruh. Okay.
Yeah, and so he made a whole 360, like a whole change, and so he learned his history and then switched that thing on up and then manifested everything that he has now. So it's really deep. But yeah, cool.
But yeah, I'll just say, and you guys just stay positive out there, man. I know it's a lot going on in the world, but you have to and trust me, I'm taking a personal experience because I have actually survived the alleged COVID. That was a tough 3 weeks for me, but I'm just saying, stay safe. Whatever that looks like for you. I'm not pushing the whole mask wearing thing, whatever your belief is on that, but stay safe. Protect yourself and your family, and try to protect your mental health. Do whatever you got to do. Go out in nature, take your family on vacation, whatever you got to do. Because again, if we don't focus on our mental health, we're gonna break down. We're gonna have mental breakdowns. There's gonna be depression. There's gonna be anxiety. There's gonna be suicidal thoughts. There's gonna be all those things, and they're winning. That's what they want us to do. They're actually winning. So don't let them win.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Joey said it all. And again, thank y'all for tuning in. on the Gemini Show. Thank you, Joe, for coming to the country and being with me today. And until next time, guys, peace out.
Peace out.
Thank you for sitting with me on another awesome episode of the Gemini Show. My guest and I appreciate you for allowing us to show both light and dark aspects of self and life. Please know that I am here to support you, the listener. DM or email me with what's on your mind and heart. Again, I am your host, Fee, with more love and more light.